So earlier today, on the 29th of June in the C period, and in I think in a negative short lunar unit, and yet in a positive long lunar unit at like 1 p.m. or so, all of a sudden, all the power was given to me, and I realized that the Creator Himself had given me all the power that is sufficient so that I can actually, first of all, wisely and successfully manage the greatest and the best possible inheritance that a human being can receive, something in the category of what is described as the righteous inheriting the earth, and even literally inheriting that what is like the Garden of Eden, eternal paradise, the world to come, and even the new earth that is filled with righteousness, where it's the best state of existence for all of creation as per holy biblical prophecy, right? So all of a sudden I realize that, and I get this thought that comes to me from within, from God within, a sense of knowing that I have actually just already received this. All I have to do is also manage this inheritance, though. So like the idea that heaven is just going to fall out of the sky, or that we're all just going to wake up one day and there's going to be all of a sudden world peace, collective security, and the closest state of existence of all of this heaven and earth plane and earth and human life activity and human beings and plants and animals and everything, all of creation being in a state of that what is like what has been biblically prophesied of as the new earth, or the righteous inheriting the earth, and it being like the golden age, so to say, and a rule of international morality, right? And a peaceful and a collectively secure world, and even that state of existence that His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I talked about when he mentioned a rule of international morality, where, for example, the United Nations Charter is said to contain the most noble aspirations of man, and then also the Universal Declaration of Human Rights serving as a sort of a template for a world constitution, where we have an internationally legal and legitimately existing world, a rule of international law and order, a new world order that is good, right? Based on like the main aims, goals, and principles of the United Nations, such as world peace, collective security, and a healthy and a safe, heavens and earth plane, so to say. Did you know that? We've already inherited that. We already live in that. I already exist in that state because I've received that as a blessing from the Creator. And at the same time, the Creator has informed me that, see, you've inherited heaven on earth now. Yet what you have to do, though, is you must be prudent and make wisdom be your guide, too, because that way you can sort of manage and operate and exist in that state. So what I'm saying is that the righteous shall inherit the earth. And when it says in the Essene Gospel of Peace, it says, arise, shine, O children of light, and thou shalt make the glory of the law to rise upon the new earth. See, that has actually happened to us now. And what I'm telling you is the truth, because how did this happen? Very interestingly enough, today at about 1 p.m., I was thinking about how to essentially basically perfect the entire universe in accordance with and according to the sovereign will of the Almighty, in terms of also actually somehow informing and wisely contributing to and helping others, so that, let's say, every person everywhere and all of life actually can exist in a state where it is, let's say, very good. So we're also talking about basic things like world peace, collective security, rule of international morality. For example, all workers everywhere, people that work anywhere having, legitimate and sufficient health and safety in their workplace, right? Just total, complete, universal justice and righteousness according to the Creator's will, filling the entire earth, right? I was thinking about how to do this, and then all of a sudden, I get this divine communication or a cosmic impulse or a sense of knowing from God within, actually, that I've already received that. I've just received that. And the way to manage and to maintain and to benefit from that and exist in that state is actually that you simply, basically, keep on living according to God's law and also wisely. And this divine self-empowerment is the most important point because look, the probability that, let's say, for example, the world leaders of today or key figures in politics are going to all of a sudden, they're going to have a summit and they're going to all stand at the podium and say, look, we're announcing to the world that we've achieved a state of world peace and the world is now collectively secure. And the aims and the goals of the United Nations that we're all members of are actually accomplished and are going to be kept accomplished. And we're living in that what could be described as heaven on earth. Like, that probably will never happen, except if we make it happen. So what I'm saying is that the best possible state of existence for humanity that you can receive and be in, and this even goes beyond the so-called boundaries of or limitations of possibly what could be described as different variable human factors of, or what could be classified as so-called race, religion, creed, or national origin, etc. What I'm talking about is a state of existence for all human beings that is the ideal state, where every human being is free and knows all their human rights and responsibilities, is able to live a peaceful, happy, legitimate, and a good life, right? And there's literally a rule of law internationally that is legit and that keeps the world peaceful, collectively secure, and everybody free and happy and live and in a good way, right? Like the miracle of miracles that we could have happen as per and related to this human existence that we all know of, right? That's what I'm talking about, and that has happened to us. We've already got that. The thing is, you have to keep and you have to hold on to and manage and access and benefit from that forever by making wisdom be your guide. Because think about this for a second. See, the chance and the probability that all of a sudden we're going to wake up one day and, you're going to see God in the sky or something, and then all of a sudden the world is just going to be totally turned into like a giant Garden of Eden and there'll be no more wars, it'll be peaceful and all this. It's highly unlikely to happen like that. Moreover, what does happen is that the Creator communicates to us, gives us blessings, and also gives us a blessing of wisdom and the ability to establish, and maintain certain goals that are in accordance with His will that are really the best thing that can happen for everyone. And that has happened to us. And this is true. What I'm telling you is the truth. Now, another thing, have you ever thought about the world and the state that it's in and how potentially dangerous it can be as a human being? There are so many dangers and there's so many problems, yet, see, where there is God, there is freedom. And a blessing from Him is wisdom. And with wisdom, you have absolute safety. You can accomplish pretty much anything that the Creator wills with wisdom. Because we know that wisdom was there helping the Creator in the beginnings. Even in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, right? So this is highly interesting because imagine having received like the greatest inheritance possible, the greatest thing that a human being could receive, and then simply also having to be able to manage it. It's almost like having received an immense or an eternal amount of financial wealth, I just got an eternal amount of financial wealth and credit, like eternal. That has to be managed wisely, right? So how do we access this perfect state? Seriously, free humanity, right? Bring the entire world into a state of establish, right? Systematically, wisely establish world peace, collective security, rule of international morality, where there's literally equal, everybody has inalienable human rights and responsibilities, equal rights and justice for all, etc., etc., all these things. See, the Creator gives to those who are worthy what they're worthy of. It's like balancing the equation. So now what we've received, we have to manage it. You could get paradise, eternal paradise, heaven on earth. The righteous shall inherit the earth. You can inherit the earth, and you can have a place in the world to come. The Creator could give you a place in the world to come, right? Literally like heaven on earth, yet you would still have to manage that and take care of that. Because it's not like, oh, okay, it's all over now. No, there's divine work to do. The thing is that these expectations of like a golden age or a perfect world, so to say, these are things that already exist, and the Creator gives it to those that are worthy of receiving it, and then they have to manage it, and God will help us do that. We know that because God is our help, right? God is my help, Eleazar, right? So you should know this. Now, look, you know what actually sparked part of this? It's very interesting. I was reading an article somewhere on the internet talking about, about people from different countries in the world who had been helped by charity foundations so that they could get out of let's say different situations in life that were really not good, and that were also not good for them in terms of even their occupation, like where they were working somewhere where the health and safety would had to be improved, things like this. And then all of a sudden, while I'm trying to figure out how to free all of humanity and bring everything everywhere into total divine good order, right? Because it is possible. All of a sudden, I get that in return. All of a sudden, I get that. I have that. I already live. Listen, it's the truth. It's almost like I'd have to explain it by saying, as long as I keep da-da-da-da-da-da-da and maintain a certain amount of wise discipline and operation in life, I already live in heaven on earth. I already live in the perfect world. I already have absolute, paradise existence as a human being, right? The best blessings you could imagine from the Creator. I already have that. Yet I have to keep it. I have to keep it by being a little bit disciplined and prudent, right? So this is something that humanity should know, because think about this. Like I said, now there is the chance that all the world leaders are going to come together at some meeting, like they have these meetings, and all stand there and say, look, we're announcing to you all that we have now, in fact, all decided to and subsequently established a world that is peaceful, collectively secure, and where an international rule of law, as laid forth in the UN Charter and the UDHR and the Geneva Convention and UN Covenants 1 and 2, now exists. And it's going to stay that way. And we're going to keep it like that. And everybody's going to be free. There's going to be no more war, no poverty, no illegal activity whatsoever. Everybody's going to be healthy. You're going to be, etc., 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 like the perfect world. Can you envision this? It's like God gives it to those that are worthy of receiving it, and then gives you the tools how to maintain it. That's the thing. So now, having received such a great blessing, I actually now have the power to free humanity. I have the power to make the world perfect. I do, and I'll explain to you why. See, the information that I'm sharing with you, it's as if the wisdom itself is sufficient to access this. So by wisdom, you too, the viewer, you can actually access what I'm talking about. And you don't even have to be so-called religious or belong to any particular race, religion, creed, and national origin. It's just simply a universal truth that there is the life giver, and he gives life, and he gives blessings, and he gives wisdom, and he makes life perfect. And you can benefit from this. What I'm saying is that the key to accessing the perfect and the ideal state of human existence that is even good, where you're safe, you're healthy, you have a good life, you realize you benefit from, you manifest, and you live the best possible life that you can live, that was already predestined to be that way for you as a human, because life is actually perfect, and it's supposed to be plus perfect at the very root, right? You can already access this. So you can be freed. Like, humanity can be freed now. You no longer have to live in poverty or live in a state of what doesn't work, where there's like these illusions and these false belief systems that are exploiting humans, leading to wars, leading to catastrophes and problems. All that stuff is done. It's gone to hell and burned in hell forever and finished. There's nothing left. Everything has been purified as to our existence, right? As related to our human existence, it has been perfected. The truth is, and that is a state that anyone can be in. How do you get there? You have to have a little bit of discipline in your life. You need to be a little bit prudent. You need to have some basic knowledge about how life works and how to make certain things work in life, and the fact that life is cyclical, and that there is more to discover. And this is also going into the category of self-mastery. So imagine this. I'm here. I actually have the ability to perfect the entire world now. I can free humanity. I can eliminate certain things, and I can establish certain things. Like, imagine having the highest amount or the maximum amount of potentially available divinely authorized authority as a human being, created in God's image and after his own likeness. Seriously, think about this. See, this is where self-mastery becomes the key. Because look, see, with wisdom, you can live a good life, a free life, a healthy life. With wisdom, you can also, you can work in the right profession that you were blessed with the talents to work in. You can work safely. You can actually have a very healthy and a very good and a wealthy life. This is pertaining to everybody. The key is actually divine guidance and blessings and wisdom. Wisdom, though, is so much, it's actually the most and the biggest part of this. So what I'm saying is that, look, it also reminds me of what Bob Marley, Double Honor, said when he said that none but ourselves can free our mind. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. So there's like an intellectual manipulation going on in the world where these different cults and different just superstitious and actually harmful belief systems, as you can see them, obviously, have actually sort of managed to manipulate humanity into a state of either not knowing or surrendering their actual creative power to interests and agendas that are not in the best interest of all of God's creation. Let's say it like that. Instead, see, divine self-empowerment is the key to manifesting heaven on earth, the new earth, right? The earth being in a perfect state of existence, as in mentioned in biblical prophecy, and even being in a state of existence that is like what the United Nations aims and goals are: world peace, collective security, rule of international morality, right? A healthy and a safe earth, right? Where everybody's like free, happy, healthy, safe, wealthy, right? There's peace, no more wars, no more, illegal activity. Everything that is evil has been abolished. Okay? Imagine that. That is a state of existence that it already exists. It just has to be accessed. And the key to accessing it is wisdom. And how do you do this? It's part of what's called self-mastery. The ability to master your life and your destiny. The most important discipline that human beings can practice in accordance with what we would classify as, and as part of God's way. Even the way, truth, and life of our boss, Adonai, Yeshua HaMashiach, or Jesus, the Messiah, the one who said things like, "Give and it shall be given." Well, those sayings are true because I was just trying to fix the entire world somehow, because I know that with God it's possible. And as I'm thinking about this, all of a sudden I receive the comprehension of, like, intelligently, and I get a divine, like a cosmic impulse, communication from God within, telling me that I've already received that now. That what I was trying to establish, also in helping others, I've just merited it myself, and now I can even establish it even more so. See, it's like we have to be the builders of heaven on earth, because if God prophesied about something, if there's a holy biblical prophecy about this new earth and the righteous shall inherit the earth, the eternal paradise, Garden of Eden, heaven is a place on earth, righteousness fills the earth, right? Just world peace, perfect world, comprehensible to anybody. Even all of what I'm talking about could also be described as the perfect world, right? That thing, that already exists. It was created from the beginning. The key to accessing it and living in it is having the right guidance and instruction and living in harmony with life cycles, the cycles of life, because all of life is cyclical. Nature is full of order because he's a God of order. So you just have to have a little bit of order in your existence and you can already exist thus. Like, be ye perfect, even as your heavenly Father is perfect. This is a true report. You should take what I'm saying to heart because it's actually the truth. Now, look, I got to emphasize one more thing as you take this with you and hopefully practice this for the good, legitimately. Look, the thing is that God, right, what he'll do is he will give you the tools to build what he envisions. He could also just, make it all perfect. All of a sudden we wake up one day, it's a perfect world. Yet what really happens is that there's a communication from the holy breath, or what they call the Ruach HaKodesh, the holy breath. And that'll come in the form of a divine inspiration or an idea that's like knowing something from the source, from the creator, from God within. And you will know a truth at a certain time, or at many times you will know truths at certain times. And that's the creator informing you of a certain reality and the way things are, and even communicating with you and guiding you to absolute, just perfect plus perfect existence. And that also potentially for everybody. So if you've been thinking like about philanthropy or charity work, see, those are good human tendencies there. The thing is, who is the biggest charity worker? Who's the one who can free the entire human race? Who can literally bring legitimate law and order into existence and operational effectivity and existence everywhere? It's a person that God blesses with the sufficient amount of wisdom to also make these things happen in creation, because creation is ongoing. See, even like heaven on earth would be, there's a creation still happening. Yeah, it does talk about an eternal Sabbath and things like that, yet what I'm saying is that these things, the best blessings that the Creator gives you, they can already be enjoyed and they can be accessed, but you have to wisely and in a disciplined way and in an orderly way access them. Otherwise, it's like you've just gotten 10 billion on your account and you could use it for good things, but instead you squander your wealth because you don't manage it. You get what I'm saying? So you have to wisely manage your inheritance. Now, how does this work? And how is this relevant for anybody? Well, I think anyone who's seeing this message and any human anywhere would like to live a happy, a free, and let's say like a legit and a good life. And, that would be great. But guess what? You're able to now. All you need to do is simply have a little tiny bit of self-mastery and a little bit of discipline in your life as you go and just be living in harmony with the cycles of life. And that because all of life is filled with order. And that's a good thing and it makes it better and you're freer that way too. You have real freedom because where God is, there is freedom, not chaos like we see in a lot of the world today. So also there's going to be a link attached. There's going to be a link in the description to a book called Self-Mastery and Fate with the Cycles of Life by H. Spencer Lewis. And also you should read the Holy Bible too. And you should keep the 7 Noahide laws too, because those are for all humans. Look up the 7 laws of Noah and look up the 10 commandments and, read, study, and work on keeping that and actually living that. And moreover though, and most importantly, have a certain amount of discipline and orderly prudence in your life. And remember that, the Creator is like that what could be classified as being the highest form of pure and legitimate hesed or love that is supplying all of life, like making the rain fall, making the grass grow, providing us with the air that we breathe, keeping us operational even when we're resting. See, the Creator is so good and so lovingly kind to us. We have to praise Him, and you got to keep, that's kind of there's a law of life there that has to be respected and kept. And there's laws that protect life, like the 10 Commandments. And see, all of life is valuable because it's all from the life giver, right? The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein, right? So what one should do is live in a legitimately pure, loving, and peaceful, and in wise way to start with. This is talking about everybody. See, you can practice self-mastery and benefit. It's almost like if you seek to accomplish that what is truly good and legitimate, then that will be accomplished for you in return by the Creator, and you will be peaceful and legitimate moreover because of what you've received, right? So what I'm saying is that we should strive, like study and examine all, yet choose and follow the good. And what is the good? It's having a basic amount of peace and legitimate, divinely authorized, and let's say holy and sacred and pure love as like a guiding factor, and also wisdom. Because see, that way you can actually prosper. Because the Creator has made life perfect from the beginning. The key is that we are supposed to be God's agents and take good care of creation, right? And see to it that it all prospers and that it brings a good harvest to Him in accordance with His will. That's actually the case. Like I said, the idea that you're just going to wake up one day in heaven on earth, no, it has to be built. It's given from the Creator. You receive it. You're savvy that you've actually gotten this. It's real, and it has to be brought into existence by the divine human cooperation, right? It's like a divine human cooperation because we're the ones that are created in God's image and after His own likeness. See, God Himself, blessed be His name, and to Him be the praise, is not abstract. He's universal, He's one, and He's first and foremostly manifested within us because He created us in His image and after His own likeness. So then if God has an idea, if there's a holy biblical prophecy about a new earth and a perfect world, essentially, right? That's going to have to be made a reality from God's will and his inspiration, and then also it's going to be brought into actual existence by his children, by his chosen ones. So be a chosen one. It's a good choice. And make wisdom be your guide. And I reassure all of you, and I can reassure you that what I'm talking about, I live this and I benefit this, and I am highly successful, and I'm a real happy man of God, without a vow, God willing. Hallelujah. And you should know that what I'm telling you is the truth. And my only interest in this is in accordance with God's will and his law. In other words, it's more of I say this in brotherly love, because look, think about this. You have somebody talking to you who's trying to perfect the world, right? To solve every problem and fix everything. That seems like a very lofty goal, doesn't it? You may ask, what is my interest? Why would I, why am I seeking to do this? What's in it for me? Well, it's because of the goodness that I've received from the Creator and the knowledge and knowing that the ideal state of existence that is the best of all, that is like very good, like the eternal Garden of Eden, eternal paradise, right? Righteousness, filling the earth, God's law being fully effective everywhere. That's the best possible thing that can happen. And it goes beyond the race, religion, creed, national origin. It's just a universal state of really good and perfect and wonderful and legit and a lovely existence and a state of life, a beautiful life. And that's how it's supposed to be. That was given from the beginning. Listen, when God created the heavens and the earth in the beginning, it already was given all the divine potential to be absolutely perfect. That's why our boss, the Eitel Kosher Messiah, said, "Be ye perfect, even as your heavenly Father is perfect." It is possible for this world to be perfect. And moreover, for justice to be served everywhere in accordance with God's law, so that everybody exists and can live, happy, free, healthy, in a good way and legitimately. Even we can even have what is like the closest thing to a perfect world that even those institutions like the United Nations actually envision. Did you know that? It's all accessible through basically divine blessings, wisdom, and the process of self-mastery. So master your life and your destiny. Don't wait for others to do it for you. That's the biggest mistake, is waiting for somebody else to do it, or thinking that some external factor has to contribute to it. No, all the power of God in due measure is within us and given to us systematically. See, divine self-empowerment and knowing the fact that we are the children of God and the creators, we can do this. We know how to do it and we can do it. I can't wait for the next one to do this. I can't wait for the president to do this. I can do it myself, and that's what I'm going to do without a vow, God willing, and so should you. So I'm talking about actually realizing and remembering and calling to mind and being cognizant of and wisely, responsibly utilizing the divine human power and the divine power that we have as human beings to create in accordance with God's will. Because think about this. Are you going to wait for the next and the other and that and this one or anybody else to do it for you? Or are you going to do it yourself with the power that God gave you and actually take responsibility and actually get it done? Do you see what I'm saying? We already have the power to bring these things into existence. Rule of international morality, world peace, collective security, heaven on earth, new earth, the righteous shall inherit the earth, that good future, that best thing that was biblically prophesied of, and even those things that are enshrined in the UN Charter, actually, things like that, the aims and goals of the United Nations that are legit, they exist. They can be made a reality, but we have to make it a reality ourselves because God is with us. You can't wait for another person. It's like you're walking through a garden, right? There's a tree. On this tree, there's the best and the healthiest fruit that can exist that will make you, the healthiest you could be. And you have permission to pick it and eat it. Okay. Are you going to wait for somebody else to come and harvest a tree for you and then package it and give it to you? Or are you going to take that and responsibly take it, thank God for it, and eat it and benefit from it? Like, you got to take what is good, what the Creator has given to you. Don't give up your personal divine power that you have. If you surrender your divine power, that's mental slavery. That's the thing that was talked about, where you think, or a lot of times because of the materialism of the world, ones think, oh no, wait, I gotta have $1 billion. If I have $1 billion, I can do this charity, I can accomplish this. No, all you need is the Creator's providence, and that's already given to you. You've got the tools, you've got the methods. You have to know, though, that your resources from God and wisdom, that's free. Hallelujah, that's free. Like, you can fix the entire world. We can free humanity. We can bring about a new world order that's in accordance with the UN Charter, UN Covenants 1 and 2, Geneva Convention, UDHR. I'm talking about the best thing and the closest thing to a perfect and a peaceful and a collectively secure world. We already have the power to make that thus. And moreover, it's like, who God blesses, nobody can stop who God has blessed. Nobody can stop you. I'm talking about having the amount of wisdom that makes it possible for you to accomplish what is good and what's predestined to be the best thing that can happen. And nothing and nobody can stop you. The only thing that can stop you is yourself. The evil inclination, laziness, doubt, lacking knowledge, fire burn all that metaphysically, or actually, moreover, even all the problems that exist there are because of a lack of knowledge. Anything that is evil, that is to be abolished and vanquished, is because of almost a result of ignorance of the law and disobedience to the law of life. And mostly actually because of lacking wisdom. So get wisdom. Wisdom is a principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all that getting, get understanding. And with more power comes more with responsibility, right? Like, to whom more is given, more is required of. And also with great power comes great responsibility. So make sure that what you're working on and aiming for is in accordance with God's laws, the Holy Bible, and even potentially, and also as it's applicable to all of us, the UN Charter, that it's in accordance with the aims and principles of the United Nations, world peace, collective security, right? Healthy and a happy, safe earth for everybody. Those things, those are legitimate. Those are blessed. And anybody can work on these things. You don't have to be from any particular religion, race, creed, national origin, etc. to do this. It's just a universally beneficial thing to begin with that's good for everybody. And that should be so.